All right, so at this point, we basically have the rough animation completed. Now what I need to do is we have two choices. We can either switch over to completing a like a cleanup drawing where basically I would do a new drawing. I'm just gonna go back into object mode here. I would do a new drawing and then I would, just draw over top of everything we have, but as one drawing, and I just basically trace what we have here and just try to clean it up and do the best line quality I can. Or we could just go directly to like final, final lines and strokes and stuff, right? So, um, I'm just gonna skip because this is relatively tight. Like I didn't do these too loose. I'm just gonna skip right to the cleanup, but just be aware if if you want, you can do that. So, on this one here, because we already have one, I'm just gonna double click and just call this one final. And we're just going to use final as our final thing here. And that was why I didn't use that one initially because it already has the lines and the whatever in there, so I don't really have to worry as much. So I'm going to switch back to draw mode. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's go back to object mode. And I want to take this drawing here because if I try to draw over top of it, it's kind of dark. I didn't draw it too dark, but it's a little bit dark. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the rough here, and then we're going to go to the material. And then down here, I'm going to click on material and I'm just going to make it lighter so that I can see it, but it's not just like I can draw, when I draw my lines, I'll be able to clearly tell that they're my lines and not these lines here. Okay, so that just makes things a little bit easier. Okay, let's go back to final. And I think this stroke should be different from that one. Okay, good. Okay, now we can go back into draw mode, and then you want to choose whatever pencil or whatever ink you're going to do. I would use one of my custom ones, but if I bring it in class, it's not going to show up right. So I'm going to go ahead and use the basic ink pen because I know that that will transfer fine. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. That's okay. So another thing you might notice is that you can see it's behind some of these and not other ones, and that's just one of those weird things. So what we want to do is this. I want to take this object, and we're just going to go ahead just for the purposes right now. I'm just going to say in front, and what that's going to do is just going to make sure that it's in front of everything else. Um, you can't really do that to everything, but in this one instance, this should basically work fine. Okay, so what we're going to do next, also, just to make things a little bit easier, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this. That way, every time I switch to the brush and the ink pen, it's always just going to be that. So I don't have to worry about like switching my materials each time. Um, that'll just make things easier. In fact, let's go to the materials here, and we have solid fill. I'm just going to go ahead and just do let's actually, you know what? Let's just make a new one. Let's make a new one and make it easier. New, and we'll just call this uh, uh, body fill. And then really the only other there's like two other colors, which would basically be the eyes and the nose and stuff. But I'm not really too worried about that. So we're just gonna go body fill. We're gonna turn this from here to fill. Oh, open that up, and I'm just gonna get a color that roughly represents loaf. That's probably fine. Um, and now I'm going to go to the fill here, and that's already set to body fill. Good. Okay. And I'm just going to pin that as well. So basically, when I go here, it's automatically go to ink pen, and now when I go here, it automatically go to body fill. It'll just that way I don't have to worry about it going back and forth and what have you. It just keeps things a little bit easier. Okay. Got my record button. All right. So now, basically, I'm just drawing the final line quality. So I'm going to go ahead and let's control plus plus plus. And I always want to hit space, but that doesn't really work. Let's move this stuff down quite a bit. Just get myself some more screen real estate. And then I'm just going to use this hand here. And yeah, so now you can kind of start wherever you want. So obviously some of this is going to be a little bit looser than I would normally like, but we're just going to make it work with what we got. So go like that. Um, Not super happy with that line, but I'm just going to try and uh, get this to basically work. Um, so make sure I got my things filled in there. All right. Um, and then it should go up here, and then there's basically, so it might make sense to actually have a back body color for like the back limbs, but I think I'm not going to worry too much about those. Okay, so just basically something like this. You're just going to go through and more or less trace what you already have. You've already done the hard work. At this point, it's the easy stuff of trying to make it just, look like what you wanted it to. So, um, and so she's got just this nose here, and then the eye, all right, and boom. Try to do, obviously this is the final quality, right? So you want to try and make this look basically how you want it to look, because this is what it's going to be. Um, no more, no more chances. So the better job that you did earlier, the easier and nicer that this will basically look. Like this. I don't like that. All right. Good. So I've got my basic. I don't really like that, but got my basic thing going on there. So now I'm just going to go to fill, and we will fill these in. It says unable to fill because of whatever, which is always really annoying. I can see there's a line right here. So if you recall, we're going to go to the tool settings here, and we're going to go into the brush settings, into the advanced, and I want to do auto remove fill guides so that that way when I do my fill guides, they get removed. So I'm going to hold Alt and kind of click and drag there. We'll hit this. All right, so you can see that worked. That was good. But you might have noticed I also forgot to switch my line layer. So go to this one. Actually, let's undo that real quick. Okay, now go to this one. I'm going to hold Alt, and we'll just put one there, and voila. And then we can go in here and basically fill in all these pieces. I'm just going to fill it all in with just that solid color. And then we're just going to basically go from frame to frame. So I'm just going to go 2 frames over, which is the next drawing, and then I'll start drawing that one as well. So we'll just go back to the brush. So what I would suggest actually is not filling it in like I did. Let's go ahead and turn this off so I can see, because it makes it hard to see. So you really want to ink the whole thing first and then go through and do the color. So I'm just going to active. Oh, oops, sorry. Come on. I'm just going to put a dot here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And then we're just going to go, and I'm just going to more or less just trace what I have. All right. So there's no sense in you watching me do this whole thing. Just obviously you're going to want to, um, draw with your dude and or dudette, whatever your character is. You're going to want to um, trace them and, do the best job that you can. So I'm just going to go ahead and more or less fill this in, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so but that's all you're gonna do. You're basically just gonna go through and just do your final lines, and when you're done, you'll have your completed animation. And you can see it's a lot of work when you think about it, because it's only 18 frames really is all you're gonna see. So hopefully, if you didn't already, have an appreciation for traditional hand-drawn animation. You do now. So let's get that go across. Oh, this guy over here too. So all right. Yep. So I'm just gonna go through and basically finish this up, and I'll show you on the flip side.